What's up, team? Hello, everybody. Hello, you. Hello. I hope you're having a great day. I need to switch up the intro because I just feel like I say the same thing every time. So I'm trying to bring some new energy. This is also my second recording this week. I'm on fire with the podcast lately. I just feel like I'm having idea after idea after idea, which is great. But I'll probably hit a wall at some point. So, all right, inbox is always open if you guys have things you want me to talk about. But today, we've got a fast hit facts. I know you guys love me. These are always the higher. Love me. I know you guys love me. I know you guys love me. I know you guys love these ones. These are always the highest performing ones on where I can see like all the ratings and listenings and stuff. So I will keep doing them. If you're new here, I'll just explain it. So fast fit facts, try to take a topic that's kind of confusing or people are unsure about, or there's a lot of BS out there when it comes to health, fitness, nutrition, whatever, and break it down and give you guys just cold hard facts, cold hard truth, no BS, no fluff, make it quick, make it simple. I have a feeling this is actually going to be an efficiently quick episode. I'm on a roll of like time number 10 of saying that, and it's still being well over 20 minutes. But I really think this one's going to be sub 20. Okay. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. I want to chat a little bit about this question of, is it okay to get your protein from protein powders? I had someone in our free WhatsApp community, which shameless plug. We do have a free WhatsApp community for anybody. You do not have to be a client. I can put the link in the description if you want to join it. I would love to see you in it. We're just all the coaches, EA coaches are in there. And if anybody has any question ever on their fitness journey, they ask it and we help them. So somebody asked this question the other day of, is it actually bad or is it okay to get protein from protein powders? Is it bad to get protein from protein powders? I think there's a lot of misinformation out there about this. I thought this was a great question. Okay. And I feel like I went in on the answer. So I was like, I can elaborate even more on the podcast. So that's what we're going to talk about. Is it okay to get your protein from protein powders? And the short answer off the top here is absolutely freaking yes. It is totally fine to utilize protein powders to hit your goal. Okay. So that's the first thing, first and foremost. I use one. I use one every day. Mine happens to be in the form of a Ninja Creamy. I make my Ninja Creamy ice cream every single night with protein powder. So there's nothing wrong with it. Now, where I think that this kind of myth, not a myth, but like idea comes from is that a lot of people say that we need to limit it, right? And I think that that's more so the key is that we do need to limit the protein that we're getting from protein powders, not because protein powders themselves are bad, but because the other sources of where we can get proteins, aka whole foods, aka plant-based protein sources and animal-based protein sources, are just so much better. They're just great. And if we are getting all of our protein from protein powders, then we are not getting our protein from these other sources that have a lot of other pros to it. So again, it's not that protein powders are bad, it's just that these other sources are great. And so we want to make sure we're still getting them from these other sources. So there's really like two things I want to hammer home as far as like why it is crucial that we more so not even limit our protein powders, but again, just make sure that we're getting our protein, a lot of our protein from the other stuff. So if you have 120 grams of protein as your like protein goal, let's just say, I'd say getting like a fourth of that from protein powders is probably going to be the max. And then trying to get that other three-fourths from animal proteins, breaking it down like that. We just need to get the other things that come with animal proteins. And there's again two big things. So number one, it's the nutrients that you are getting from whole foods that you just cannot get from protein powders. And I'll break this even down into two sections. So animal proteins, and I have a bias here for my vegetarian, vegan listeners. I think something that you need to understand is, and like if you're going to be vegetarian or vegan, you need to understand that there are nutrients in animal proteins that you are just not going to get if you're not eating animal proteins. Okay. And if you are vegetarian or vegan and choosing to be that, first of all, if you're choosing to be it from a health perspective, my my expertise would lend me to encourage you otherwise. If you're doing it from an ethical perspective, from a religious perspective, that's different, okay? But you need to understand that you're going to be missing certain vital nutrients from animal proteins and making sure you're supplementing with that, which we could do a whole nother episode on that, but making sure you're supplementing with those, making sure you're getting full amino acid profiles in the protein powders that you are using, in the, like you're combining foods in the right way with the plant-based protein sources that you are using, because plant-based protein sources don't have complete amino acid profiles. That was kind of a little bit off track here, but it actually is a plus one in the plant-based protein powder category, is that typically plant-based protein powders, you do need to check, but they are going to be a complete amino acid profile. So that's why they can actually be really beneficial for vegan and vegetarian type diets to utilize because it guarantees they're at least getting their amino acid profile. So actually a slight deviation there and a +1 for protein powders. But my emphasis there was explaining how important it is to get animal proteins in your diet because there are certain nutrients that protein powders, no matter, plant-based or not, don't have. Big ones that come to mind are going to be creatine. Creatine is extremely prevalent in red meat. So if you are not eating a lot of red meat, you're not getting a lot of natural creatine. And creatine is a supplement that I encourage anyone to take, anyone. But it's still like we really would like to have the bioavailable in food form of creatine. It's just gonna be a lot easier for us to digest. And just in addition to a creatine supplement, like having it in your food is gonna be like the adequate amount. So that's a big one. Another big thing is B vitamins. Red meat, fish, like these, they're chock full of certain B vitamins. Like again, red meat, this is a case for red meat all the way. Like red meat has so many nutrient benefit, like benefiting nutrients is. And then fish, like there's other things even beyond just like creatine and B vitamins. There's other nutrients as well too, like omega-3, right? That's going to be found in salmon and fatty fish. And we need to have these things in our diet that are not like if we're only getting, it's not just about the protein from these protein sources, right? It's about the other things that come with it. And if we're only getting our protein from protein powders, we're missing out on these other nutrients that come with the actual bioavailable form of protein, right? So that's kind of the animal protein, creatine, B vitamins, certain healthy fats. I'm probably missing a lot of other things, but these are just the big top three that came to my mind. And then getting food, protein from plant-based protein sources. So things like legumes, chickpeas, beans. I feel like I'm drawing up tofu. I'm drawing a blank for some reason, but a lot of these like more plant-based, more starchy type of protein sources, not only do they have protein, but they also have very important like fiber that's very important for digestion. They also have a lot of other important micronutrients like vitamins and minerals. And if we are only getting our protein from powders, we're going to be missing out on the things that also come with these foods that are incredibly important to digestion, that are incredibly important to cell health, that are incredibly important to our body's biological processes, which does include our body's ability to build muscle, which is a lot of the times what we're thinking about when we're even just considering utilizing protein powders. So we need these other things as well. So again, it comes more to the fact, not that protein powders are bad of why we should limit it, but because if we are getting it all from protein powders, we're missing out on these other things that come with the better sources of actual animal and plant-based protein sources. So that's the biggest thing. But another big reason why also we should kind of split it up and at least get some of our protein from whole foods is that it honestly just keeps you fuller longer. And somebody who is asking about protein powders and typically asking this question, we're typically on some sort of health and fitness journey where we are trying to control our appetite, we're trying to maybe work on like weight loss management, or we're trying to work on building muscle. And a lot of people are dealing with like overeating and just hunger signaling, etc. If we are getting our protein from whole foods, we're going to likely stay fuller longer for two big reasons. Number one, the bioavailable form of protein that is found in these whole foods is absorbed a lot slower than in protein powder. So this is why if you have a protein shake, you typically digest it pretty quickly, you're hungry again. But if you were to eat that same amount of protein in chicken or steak or fish, you're going to stay a lot fuller longer because the actual protein itself is being absorbed slower. So the digestion process takes longer as well. And the other aspect of that too is that that same amount of protein in one of those meat sources typically is a larger from a volume perspective, right? Like literally it's going to take up more room in your digestion system, take up more room in your stomach, and keep you a lot fuller than the quick liquid of a protein powder that you're drinking. And then there's also the aspect of just like you've got to chew your food versus drinking a protein shake. So it might help us slow down, like it might help with digestion and being able to actually chew our food and have that moment with our food, and even better our relationship with food because we're actually having to be conscious about it and think about it and chew it and sit with it and like have this more ritualistic aspect to eating than just slamming a protein shake or taking powder. Which again, not that there's anything wrong with that, but these are just reasons to think about of why it may be more beneficial to at least like prioritize having some whole foods protein sources in your diet. Okay. So those are really the two big things. Again, like broken record, but I just want to emphasize protein powder, not bad. Definitely a great thing to utilize to help you hit your protein goal, but we want to limit it because we still need to be getting these other things that are found in whole foods. Okay. Now, two other big key things here that I do want to mention in this conversation is number one, like if you're going to utilize protein powders, which again, there's nothing wrong with this. I think it can be extremely helpful to help you hit your protein goal, but you need to make sure that you're getting it from a high quality source, a highly trusted source. Now, I know the next question is, oh my gosh, well, how the heck do I know? That is probably a whole nother podcast episode, but I will give you some quick tips here to know. And this is why you also might be wondering, like, is it that big of a deal? As I was doing some research for this, I did find, and this is a little bit outdated, but honestly, I don't expect it to be any better today. A 2018 study from the Clean Label Project found that 130 popular protein powders, and they sourced these from the best-selling ones on Amazon, tested for high levels of heavy metals, pesticides, BPA, and other contaminants, including arsenic. Yay. Not yet. Okay. So this is, yeah, not good. And this is why the supplement industry, like I have such kind of a problem with it and really am very selective of who I use, who I promote, who I work with, and like what we tell our clients about, because the supplement industry is not regulated well at all. People can really get away with putting anything in their shit. And also, you just never know, like the way that it's manufactured and dosing, like are you really getting what they're saying on the label in that serving? Like it's just it's not dosed well. And yeah, they can just get away with really putting any fillers in it. Even like screwing around kind of with the serving size. Like if you go to the grocery store and you pick up like the cheapest protein powder you see on the shelf, it seems cheap, but if you actually turn it around and you realize like how many servings you have to take to actually get the 25 grams of protein, it really isn't any cheaper, but like it's the way that they're marketing it. So these are all things to kind of look out for. But other major things to look out for to know if you're getting a high quality protein. Number one, look at the ingredients. Okay. The list should be short. It should be short. I'd say really no more than 7 ingredients max. No added sugar in there, no hydrogenated oils, no artificial sweeteners. And those are going to be things that you like, I'm going to name some because some people don't realize these are like not good. But aspartame, sucralose, I can't even say this one, which is a red flag in themselves. Acesulfame, potassium, we don't want to see those things. Okay. And then another thing is look for at least 20 grams of protein per serving. Honestly, closer to like the 23 to 25 grams mark. If it's anything less than that, that's a crappy protein powder. Don't waste your money on it. And another big thing to look at is and I'm not going to say that if it doesn't have this, it's not a good brand, but like to know for sure it is. If it has the NSF certified for sport seal, this is a highly renowned seal to get on supplements. And this company does the testing, make sure that they're all under thresholds and levels for heavy metals and things like that. So those are 3 big things I would look for when shopping for high quality protein. Now I have to plug Legion, my favorite, only thing I use these days. They have great whey protein, plant-based protein, so many flavors. The peanut butter fudge right now is a high on my list. Cake batter has also been very good. Cookies and cream has also been very good. Cinnamon cereal of the plant-based has also been very good. I love them. They are extremely transparent with what is put in all of their supplements, pre-workout, like everything, which is hard to find. And they're tested. They're 100% clean. I'm a huge fan. So that's just one off the top of my head I would recommend. And I do have a discount code. I work with them. Like I said, I am very selective with who I work with, knowing how the supplement industry is. So I completely back them. I have to shameless plug it. I do have a discount code. It's Mallory M, all caps, if you want to use it, and I will put it in the show notes as well. It does get you 20% off your first or your first purchase. But yeah, I love them because it is hard to find good protein powders. But anyway, there's lots of other, there is lots of other ones out there, but those are the things to look for. And then lastly, as far as we have to talk about this in this question, but if you're asking like, is it okay to get your protein from protein powders? We've completely talked about that. But the one thing that completely makes the answer no, it is not okay to get your protein from protein powders is if it causes you digestive problems. And this is very common. It does for a lot of people. If it does, don't force it. It's not meant for you. Like, if you're not able to digest it well, it's not doing what you think it's doing anyway. Now, for a lot of people, they don't digest whey well, so finding a really good plant-based source could be the alternative. But if you just don't digest it well or you hate it, that's another part too. If you hate it, some people just hate the taste. There's a lot of good options out there, and you might be able to just try different like flavors and textures. But if you just can't find one you like, maybe it's just not for you. And honestly, I know it might be harder and take a little bit more effort and work, but I just so much it's not a bad thing to go get all of your protein from whole food sources. But in short, if you can tolerate it and digest it well, protein powder is a very, very helpful supplement that will help you hit your goals. And I think it has a purpose sometimes in your diet, even like I don't want to say more than whole food protein sources, because we just talked about all the things they have to offer. But there's certain times where one or the other makes more sense. So how we talked about how whole food protein sources are slower absorption and take a little bit longer to digest, I would love to see you eat those outside of your like workout time frame, like other parts of your day to kind of help keep you full throughout the day. That would be a great time to have the slower digesting proteins. But then right after your workout, I would that if we're going to utilize protein powder, that would be a fantastic time to utilize protein powder because now we're going to be able to absorb it a lot quicker. We just finished, strength training. We just finished breaking down muscle, and we're going to be able to shuttle those proteins and amino acids and building blocks to that muscle a lot faster and be able to start that recovery process a lot faster. So there's pros. I don't even want to say there's cons to each. There's pros to both protein powders and whole food proteins. We just need to make sure we're getting both, and then there's ways to time it to make it the most optimal. So I hope this was a helpful episode. Team protein powder for sure. Just make sure you're getting, I'd say, at least 75% of your foods from or of your protein from whole foods, and you are going to be good to go. So let's see. How am I doing on time here? It doesn't tell me. I bet I'm under 20 minutes. Okay. Crossing my fingers. I feel like this will be my quickest episode of all time. Let's go. But I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I will see y'all on the flip. Bye.